Oh, he's made a lot of improvements. You know, I think anytime that you're able to bank more reps, and even in the phase that he moved to guard and Connor was back, you know, he was still having to take center reps. So he's been taking center reps since spring, like we were talking about back then, and he's been every week is a process, and every week he's gotten better with that process and with his approach to how to play the position. I think that you know, he's just a guy that every day takes advantage of his opportunity for that day and what it's going to get presented to him, and trying to make the most out of it. And so it's been good for him. In the NFL or in general?
Just in general.
In college, I have one time, but I was coaching Division II football at that time at Michigan Tech. We had to go to our fourth center once, which is really panic-stricken. But yeah, I mean, that's it. We had changes, because of development of younger players that became better players at the time, and injuries. It was a combination of both at that time. But so, are you asking that question pre me getting hired or post me being hired?
I guess both. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously the pre tense to it all is the relationship with Mike, and just how his vision of what this offense is, and how the view of the position being played, and our alignment is directly in line. So that's a huge phase, because you work with that individual. I working with Mike and Frank all day, every day, right? So that relationship and that alignment is of the utmost importance. So that was a big part of it. Pretense, yes. At that point, once discussions begin, you start watching tape on the individuals, and then obviously once you're hired, now you go into a thorough evaluation of each player, strengths, weaknesses, how they work as a group, guys at different positions. I mean, you're doing the full gamut of what you feel are strengths and weaknesses of each individual, by position, by who they're working with. Sometimes things like that show up in terms of combination blocks and communication. So all those things are tied into that evaluation. So far this year, it's been Teron and AJ at the 2 tackle spots. Otherwise, we've have been moving. We have guys moving in different positions since OTAs, and so that's kind of the thought process behind it all, and try to be somewhat calculated in the timing of movements and days and different things like that, so the scenarios can be for the individual player somewhat controlled and conducive for learning, but yet expand their whole knowledge of everything. I'm not attaching judgment to it, to be honest with you. I didn't know or think it was that, but I'm not evaluating it from good, bad, or anything else. So what are you asking?
Rob Hunt, you say he's cross-trained as well. Is it just at left guard or other positions in the offensive line?
Oh, yeah, he's done tackle. He did tackle last year too. I think that we're in a much better place overall communication. I think that when you do bring up that it's a guy's first time playing center, and was his first time starting in a game at that position, there's naturally some cadence issues to work through with having to go silent on the road, and just overall communication of everything, and making the calls and being the centerpiece and the voice for the whole unit to work as one. And so I think that in that situation, based upon everything for him, he battled, and he utmost respect in how he performed, but he is in a much better place at this moment in time than then. I would say that that's one piece to it. Another piece, obviously, is when somebody does go down, that factors. And I think that was a game that, overall, just kind of we felt like we were in a position where we was best suited to throw the ball more than normal. And so anytime that you're throwing the ball probably more than you typically anticipate, you increase your variables and opportunities for them to have what would be viewed as success, right? Well, we can go off on a long tangent on that one. And I think that in a very simplistic way, yes, right? But I think that all becomes into the makeup of the individuals that you have, that you're referring to that statement of if you're saying just in our room, you're saying the team, or you're saying in life in generality, right? I think we all, as humans, can do more than what we realize, right? And so the question becomes, how do you maximize that? How do you get that out of people? How do you get that out of yourself? Do you need somebody to motivate you to do that? Like, right, you get what I'm saying? So I think that's a point of discussion that could go on for hours, really, or it's going on for years, because people are always trying to expand on that. How do we get more out of individuals? And I think that you coach and demand to what you see as the vision. And so constantly trying to put that in front of players, I think, increases the opportunities to maximize them as players, is how I'd say that.